Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am finally ready to talk about the KVD Beauty Good Apple Foundation Balm. My shade is in medium 45 and I've had this for a few months now, and I am ready to talk to you about this and how I feel about it. So without further ado, let's just do a little bit of show and tell. I will share with you more as I apply this on my face. Here it goes. I'm gonna first apply moisturizer. This is the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream. I find that regardless of how well I do my skin prep, this foundation doesn't really look that pretty on my skin. Also, I have dry skin right now with like patchiness around this area. Just bear that in mind as I apply the foundation balm on my skin. Before I let my moisturizer set, I do want to say right off the bat that I did not enjoy this foundation balm regardless of how I applied it, whether it's with a brush or sponge or even with my fingers, which I rarely do. When I got this foundation balm, I really wanted to like it, I really wanted to love it, but I just haven't been able to tell myself or share with you guys that I've been enjoying this foundation balm. So that's that. I'm not gonna apply any primer for this video. I just want to apply the foundation balm and let you see how it applies on my enlarged pores, my texture and any scarring and everything. I am going to apply this with my fingers, which I find is the best way to apply it without looking cakey. I've tried using my flat top, I've tried using my sponge, and I find that melting this into my skin with my fingers, warming it up and all that jazz helps make it look not cakey on my skin. So I am going to go straight in. Honestly, I do find this very unhygienic, and yes, I can use a spatula, take out the product, put it back of my palm, but I just really don't care for that because this just doesn't look good on my skin. It has a lot of coverage, it is very pigmented, and you only need a little bit. I totally forgot, I only need a little bit. Shit. So you only need a little bit, and I'm just gonna keep rubbing into my skin. It has amazing coverage, and I know that on TikTok and on social media everybody's like raving about this, right? And that was like the main reason why I wanted to try. But you see, even as I'm like working it into my skin, you can already tell that it's very cakey, and I'm gonna try to remove some product off. It's very powdery, it's very creamy, and like I mentioned, it's very pigmented, but somehow I feel like it just doesn't sit well on my skin at any point of time. I don't know if it's because I have dry skin, but I've really applied my moisturizer. So okay, so after much blending, what you see now is a very skin-like application with really the least amount of product that I can have on my skin. It's very pretty. It really looks very pretty on camera. Right now, it still feels like it hasn't sit on my face very nicely, even though I have blended in as much as I can. It is definitely not transfer proof. This is one of the worst foundation in terms of like transfer proof. Like, it transfers the most on my face mask out of all the foundation I have. So yeah, it's very skin-like. This 45, this shade 45 is like the perfect match for me, and it just evens out my skin. A very natural finish, like velvety matte powdery finish. Okay, so I'm gonna go on to this side of my face, which with the camera angle you can see all my imperfections. Take this much, just a little bit, and you can see how it's like super pigmented. If you have texture, if you have like active pimple scarring that's healing, this is definitely gonna kick around, and I'm not going to apply anything on my, maybe I should, right? So you can see how well it covers. So I'm gonna dab it on. You see, it's like kicking up. I'm not sure if you can tell, like the texture is actually really powdery, like around the crease here. Like, it's already not settling very prettily. It actually isn't like the most comfortable thing to apply on your skin. I find it's a little bit heavy, even though I only apply like a fingerprint amount of foundation. a lot of cons as I apply this to show you. On camera it really does look very pretty, but in person, if you ask me how it feels on my skin, it is not comfortable. It does not feel good. It feels like I have foundation on my skin. To show you, so I have this. I'm gonna do this. Not transfer proof. That even now as I like tap my finger on it, it's that very powdery. It's not sticky, but it's just like uncomfortable, like you know your foundation hasn't set into your skin. So that is that. So that's a very thin layer of foundation, and I'm not even going to go on a second layer. Usually for my foundation demos I do a second layer, but for this foundation we cannot do a second layer. And I try to avoid applying too much product along my smile line, because after a while you can see my smile line. It's just not pretty. I feel like I'm making this video to say everything I don't like about this foundation, because that's just the truth for me, okay? So this is pretty much it for my foundation application. I'm just gonna like conceal and do the other things on my face as I let this foundation set. Just take note as this video goes on, you want to pay attention to this area, and also my forehead. If you can, I mean I haven't really applied much, but maybe it will show up. Like I really hate how this foundation creases my forehead, because usually foundation doesn't do that on my forehead, but with this, all my flaws on my forehead just really doing a show and tell as well. If you want to know if setting my face with powder helps with the transfer, it doesn't. It still transfers very badly on my face mask. I've tried every method possible to apply this and want to enjoy it, but no. It's only, I feel like, really good for photos. I feel like on photos, this foundation looks really pretty, but other than that, in person, it's just not the most complimenting. I think on camera it really looks pretty, but don't let it deceive you, because I still don't like it on my skin. No. Apply my blush just to show you how cream product look on the foundation. I see foundation transferring on my finger, which is really bad. Like, I mean, by now it shouldn't transfer so much, but it still does, and it continues to transfer throughout the day, trust me. So do not like it. I just feel like it doesn't ever set or sit onto my skin in the nicest possible way. For the price point, I just don't think this foundation is worth it, you know. I really want to like it, but I just don't. And I feel like you can start to see my texture coming off. Yeah, I totally see it now. Like, it doesn't get better, but I feel like it's sort of like screaming on camera already, especially the nose area. As I talk, you can see the line. Yeah, and like more texture here that I feel like some foundation does it so much better in terms of like blurring it out, even though it's like a matte foundation. But no, just a smidge of lipstick for the thumbnail. I don't want to go too heavy-handed. I never go heavy-handed in any of my videos anyway, but so you can tell this foundation really looks very pretty on camera. Like, I'm really loving the finished look, and I can totally understand why this foundation balm was trending on TikTok and social media for so long. What I really don't understand is how these influencers on TikTok can like pile on that amount of foundation balm on their skin and still say it's the best thing ever, because it would have been so cakey on their face, you know. And you see now, like, I only applied just a little bit, but all my texture is showing up, and over here around my mouth area is just like so not pretty if you go in close. But if you stay this far from me, it looks pretty. That's about it from me. This is my review on the KVD Beauty Good Apple Foundation Balm. I know it's not the most positive review you would have seen on social media because everyone raves about this foundation. And yes, it's very pigmented, it's very creamy, it's very full coverage if you're looking for that. But it's not transfer proof, it's pretty uncomfortable on dry skin, and it enhances all the imperfections that I have on my textured enlarged pore skin. So I would not recommend you to try it if you're considering, and I would definitely suggest you to look out for other foundation balm if you're interested in cream foundation. This is not one for you to try if you have a similar skin type as me. Yeah, that's that. And I do apologize if you're looking for something positive to watch today, because this is not the foundation review to watch. So that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoy watching, and I'll see you in the next one.